I think now more than ever, we all need it.
Yes.
With COVID, with all that's going on in the world, there's a lot of pain.
I'm so excited today to have with me as my guest, Victoria Cramer. She's an executive coach whose background includes leading teams at Fortune 500 companies such as Microsoft, Cisco Systems, Marriott Hotel. Victoria is a competitive bike racer. She is the mother of twins. She's an author. Welcome to Morning Tea. I'm Joanne coming to you from the Peaks, overlooking the magnificent metropolitan Phoenix Valley. Victoria, it is so great to have you here with us today. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
I am fabulous. It is so nice to be here, and I can't wait until we can be in person.
Yeah, absolutely. This is good. In person is better. But I want to start today by talking about living life loudly. I read this book last week, and this is special. This is an inspiration for all women. I would say that if you had written a book about the challenges of raising twins, I would have grabbed it. I would have been inspired. But it's way more than that. It's not just about raising twins. It's about being a competitive bike racer. It's about fighting breast cancer all at the same time. This is really a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, your optimism in the face of massive challenges. So the journey, as I see it, is it starts pretty much after you had this infertility, and then you're blessed with twins. And just a few months after their birth, you get this diagnosis of breast cancer. Something unimaginable at a time like that, having your first child or children. So can we start there? Can we start with you telling us what was that like, and a little bit about this new path, this new journey that you found yourself on?
Absolutely. So yes, you're right. Being blessed with twins was amazing. It is amazing still, but just to be blessed with the news that I'm having twins, I think I paused for about a day to freak out. And then, of course, just blazed forward with, apparently I'm not in control of everything that happens in my life, even though I enjoy having a lot to do with what happens in my life. I had said one and done, and it ended up not being in my control, which is a beautiful thing. It ended up being a gift. And as I learned over the course of the next 7 years after that, there was a lot more that was going to be out of my control, but again, beautiful gifts. And when you get blindsided with the news that you have breast cancer and you have an aggressive form of breast cancer, you get that gut punch, you can't breathe, and you think, am I even going to see my kid's first birthday?
Wow.
And that is something that causes you to just stop. You just stop everything in your life, and suddenly nothing matters except for fighting forward.
Wow.
And for me, I knew nothing about, I had no medical issues ever. So I knew nothing about what journey I would be embarking on. I now swear I have a PhD in anything medical, because it's been a long journey, and it's been a beautiful one. I got to win the first battle. I apparently didn't learn enough the first time around, and I've now gotten to battle again. But that first gut punch, everything in my fiber just said, okay, if all I have left is, let's say, a handful of months, then how do I want to be remembered? How do I want people to describe me to my girls when they become young women? And that was the driving force. And my mission, which was to not only be resilient, but to be positive and optimistic through the entire thing, and to write an equation that maybe others could follow if, for any reason, higher powers didn't see me fit for staying in this world, that people would be able to learn from it. And so I set out on a mission to make sure that every single day was a really amazing one. And before you know it, I learned a lot.
And that's something that you say that I really, really loved. I picked it up at the end of the book. That you have this philosophy that every day is its own lifetime. I love that. It's actually kind of my philosophy too. at the end of the day, I have my wine. Or actually, I stopped drinking wine for a while. But, you know, at the end, it's something, and celebrate, toast the day. Thank God for another day of success. If it wasn't successful, think about how tomorrow is a fresh new sunrise. We can just start all over again. Something that I noticed in your book was that you talked a lot about your team. You built a team, and you saw the importance of having a lot of people, as well as the support system, people that just popped up out of the woodwork to be supportive. Talk about your team that you built.
So originally my team just started out small, and I didn't realize that when you have a medical issue, you will end up having more ists in your life than you could possibly imagine. So you get, it doesn't matter what you think of, you've got oncologist, radiologist, oh my goodness, naturopathic doctor, but that one doesn't quite have the ist in it. But you get the point. You're going to have cardiologists and you name it, you're going to have a lot. Who those people are, it does matter. And you have to fight for the very best to make sure that the team that you surround yourself with are subject matter experts in an area that maybe you don't have any knowledge. If you've got no knowledge, well, even if you do, choosing the right team is really critical to making sure that your strategies are going to be executed successfully. And then my team started to grow, and it grew exponentially, not just the specific specialists that I had to choose or got to choose for my team, but also the people that I surrounded myself with that could lift me up. Mm-hmm. And what I had to do was cognitively choose to cut some people out. And that's a hard thing to do, but it was really important. And my philosophy was, if you looked at me like I was dying, you're out. You're not on my team. Okay. I need people who will look at me and go, you've got this, and believe it with every fiber of their being. Because if I looked into your eyes and I could tell there was pity and doubt, then I couldn't have you on my team. And part of that team too was choosing what input I allowed into my life. And I had that philosophy of, hey, if it didn't give me positivity, I didn't have room for it. And so I cut the news out, and nobody cuts the news out, but I found that I never woke up saying, I'm going to be inspired by the news, so let's watch it. And that didn't happen. Cut it out. So it was a combination of choosing the right people, choosing the right inputs, and all of that formed what I would call a really powerful team.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? It really sounds like you're talking about an entrepreneurial spirit. Where you start a new business, it's the same thing. You have to have people that believe in what you're doing. A lot of times they don't. When you're branching out to do something new and different and risky, but you have to have the team of people who know more than you do, the lawyer, the accountant, and then you have to have people that believe in you, that are going to support you, because you've got enough voices in your own head telling you negative things that you have to stop, let alone having others coming in from the outside. So that's absolutely brilliant. There's and the negativity, the TV. Oh my goodness! When I didn't put my kids in school; they were homeschooled, and there was a period of years where I just didn't have a TV in the house. We didn't miss a thing. There was nothing. You know, you can get the, you know, has the world ended? Well, we can get those 5-minute news blasts once in a while, you know, to find out. But you know, it's just it sells, and you don't want that streaming in especially when you're, you know, got a big struggle going on. That's right. There was something else that I think I got this from one of your podcasts, but this was a stunning statistic. You said that 60% of people don't show up for chemotherapy. I mean, what a shock. I mean, I had no idea. I thought everybody who's fighting for their life would be there to the bitter end, you know, but no.
It's hard. It is hard. I didn't understand that statistic the first go around. I'll be honest. I thought that can't be accurate. Who wouldn't just show up? And then when I got cancer the second time, I got it because I did not want to show up. I'll be honest. There were no statistics to tell me that by showing up, I could live. Mm-hmm. There weren't any. I became an anomaly, and I know that's going to be book number 2. So that's coming down the road.
Talk about that. Yes.
But I'll give you a sneak preview. When you become an anomaly, it makes it so much harder because there's no proof that what you're doing is actually going to make an impact. And so I started to go, oh, wow, I get why people might not show up, and why that 60% just don't show up makes sense, because when it gets hard, and you don't have proof that the work you're doing is actually going to be tied to an outcome, it became a lot harder to show up. Now, I still did every single round, but not everybody does because of that, because it is hard. It's hard when the going gets tough. And it's also hard when you think about eating an elephant. I used to hate this analogy because who wants to eat an elephant? But the reality is, if you had to eat one, let's just say you had to eat an elephant, you've got to eat it one bite at a time. And so if you try to think past one bite, you probably won't show up for the next one, right? So you've got to just eat that elephant one bite at a time. And that became my mantra, because when you're faced with, let's say, 58 rounds of chemo, it's just insurmountable. You can't process that, and it will stop you. And so to keep it from stopping me, I kept saying, no, you just have one more, just one more. And each time it was just one more. And before you know it, you're like, no, I really do just have one more. I did this.
Exactly. And you know what? And you knew this. You knew that you were going to have a hard time. And so you set it up so you would have people drop you off.
Yes.
The chemo place so that you couldn't escape. Because, I mean, there were times when you felt like you just wanted to run. And so knowing that you are fallible, you're a human being, you're weak, knowing that you had to go through this thing, you found ways to work with that. And that's really, it's basic, but it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
You have to recognize your weaknesses. If you don't, you won't show up. And if you do recognize them, then you've got to put in place accountability. Even if you don't want it, because you know it'd be easier to hide from it, that's when it's probably the most crucial.
That's exactly right. It's the accountability. And this, there's something you say at the end of the book about one of your conclusions is, aren't we all survivors? That's just so true. We're all, we don't have necessarily the struggle with cancer, but we all have things that we have struggled with or are currently struggling with or surviving from. And all of these things that you've just been talking about, they apply. And so talk about the second book. I'm so excited to hear this one.
So I'm working on book number 2. I would say I'm about 40% in and gaining momentum. The reason I decided to write book number 2 is because I learned so much more through a second journey. Mm-hmm. It was a complete gift. At the time, I didn't see it as that. I don't think we always do when we're going through the pain and the struggles. It's hard to see that clarity, but it was given to me as a gift. I was meant to learn more, not only about a medical journey, but about myself and about the human spirit and some of the amazing tools we all have in us to be even more resilient. And I'll tell you what, I think the thing I learned the most that I will talk about is a warrior mindset. And that is kind of critical. It's way too much for us to talk about now, but that's what the second book will be a lot about. And I think now more than ever, we all need it.
Yes.
With COVID, with all that's going on in the world, there's a lot of pain. Yes. There's a lot of despair, and most people don't necessarily have the tools instinctually. Yeah, to be able to be a thriver. Mm-hmm. But I've been given that gift to help others to see that they actually can survive, and not only survive, but actually kill it and thrive and make the most out of it. And so that's why I'm writing book number 2.
It's really easy to see how your coaching, your leadership coaching is so successful because you have, resilience is something you build up, and you have had to build it up. And you are a resilient person. And that's why a lot of people crumble in these hard times, is because they're not resilient. And resilience is something you need to be working on at all times in your life for these moments when they come. So could you talk a little bit about your company and the services that you provide? Where can people find you and get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So it's pretty easy. It's my name. So victoriacramer.com, and Cramer is with a C. I'll do a litany of things, but I would say the things that I am most well known for are public speaking, engaging with audiences that need a pick-me-up. Right now, more than ever, I think organizations are faced with people who are honestly disengaged. Mm-hmm. And for the longest time, employee engagement was a big focus. I don't think the world knew that it was going to become an employee revolution, and that so many employees want to leave. They want to jump ship. They're just frustrated. They're burned out. They're not enamored with and prideful of the place that they work. And so I think now more than ever, I'm getting inquiries. Can you help pick up my team? And so I'm doing a lot of that. And then there's a huge need for upskilling. And fortunately, I've actually run a company, and I've been a leader, a transformational leader in major organizations, Marriott and Choice Hotels, and I've run hotel companies. So I can contribute significantly to the upskilling that's needed out there. And there are so many organizations that are focused right now on how can we take EQ, so emotional intelligence, merge it with a new term called VQ, which is virtual intelligence, and hopefully spit out really amazing leaders who have more empathy. And so it's a bit more on the softer skills that I'm seeing trends, but I do a lot of speaking to groups and then executive coaching on how to upskill in those areas.
Oh, that's exciting. So again, it's victoriacramer.com. Victoria is going to be our featured speaker at our Smart Social Networking. It's on August 24th. So if any of you who are watching are local, make sure you come out and meet this amazing woman. Will you have books with you to autograph and sell?
Yes, I will bring books with me so people can come and purchase them on site, and I will be happy to stay after and do some signing. If anyone purchases my book ahead of time, either off of my website or on Amazon, and it's called Living Life Loudly, How Will You Face Your Speed Bump, then I would be happy to autograph that for you.
Like you did mine.
I am exactly like I did yours. And then
so much.
A lot of people come and say, hey, although I want your book, I actually want a book as well for somebody else because someone else is hurting that I think could use you. And so for that reason, I'll bring extra books. And if folks want, they can do a buy one, get one for half off. So.
Oh, I love that. That's a great deal. All right. We hope to see you all there. Victoria, again, thank you so much for spending morning tea with me and our guests. Have a good day.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
And thank you for being here today. Before you go, make sure you subscribe to this channel and leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this episode today. Have a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.